Greetings and welcome to Mtok News, bringing you information out of the Christian world. I'm your national news anchor, Dustin Pfeiffer. And for our first story tonight, Montana's governor has signed a bill into law known as the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, joining about 20 other states who've also passed similar or if not the same bill. So this passed the Montana Senate with a 26-24 vote, so very slim win. Under the RFRA bill, state action should not burden exercise of religion without compelling justification and through the least restrictive means of furthering that compelling government interest, which means that the government has to pick the least restrictive means, or the means that will affect the religious organization the least, in order to act out what they need to. So if they're trying to impose new COVID regulations, they cannot impose heavily on a religious organization, but rather they will have to balance it out with other regulations that they're putting on businesses. And even so, they have to draw back on a lot of it, so that people who are in a faith-based organization or who is worshiping of any religion, the government cannot infringe on that, at least in a heavy means. Now we are going to go over to our next story, and this is actually really good news. VidAngel, a long-time editing, I want to say software or company, but what they do is they help make content that is usually not safe for children to see, and make it safe by you typing in or you selecting things that you don't want to see in a particular movie. Say if you want to watch Godzilla and there's a lot of profanity in the movie, you can click to where it says remove profanity, and you would be able to watch the movie without hearing the profanity usually presented in that movie. Now VidAngel has now transitioned to Angel Studios, which is now a crowd-funded studios that is going to bring wholesome and family-oriented content to its viewers. Now this is again entirely crowd-funded. The reason for them doing this is that they want to separate or create content without Hollywood having a say in the matter. They want their viewers to be able to watch some good content without having to worry about, is this safe for my kids to watch? But it also allows you to fund them. In a sense, you get to choose which content you get to see. So if you see like The Chosen, which is produced by Angel Studios, if you want to support The Chosen, you can select The Chosen and put a certain amount of money towards it. This allows you, the audience, to control what Angel Studios is producing. So now we are going to go over to John with our international report.
All right, well, thank you, Dustin, for those reports. We'll be sure to follow those up. And now we will head over to your international report for the week. So we're starting in Sri Lanka, where Christians of Sri Lanka are remembering the second anniversary of the Easter Sunday bombings. So as a recap, on April 21st of 2019, terrorists attacked 3 churches and 3 hotels. At least 279 people were killed and 500 more were injured. Most were Christians who were attending worship at the time. So on Wednesday, exactly 2 years from the attack, a memorial service was held at the 3 churches that had been bombed. They held a moment of silence at 8:45 a.m. to coincide with the first bomb. And we would just like to continue to pray for those families who were affected. And we would like to continue to pray for the hearts of the people who orchestrated this, that they would know Christ and turn away from terrorist attacks. All right, now we're going over to Hong Kong, where on April 20th, Reverend Lo Huchoi and his wife left Hong Kong for the United Kingdom. According to the Christian Times, he feels conflicted. He claims his departure is solely based on the shrinking of freedom in Hong Kong when it comes to speech and he is quoted as saying, well, speech and practice, of course. So he is quoted as saying, "The government policies have deviated from the principles and basis of reasonableness and fairness. What is happening is not just Hong Kong being torn apart, but a severe dislocation." Reverend Low has been very outspoken over the past several years when it comes to the government restrictions in Hong Kong. While not pressured to leave directly, he has been publicly criticized for his outspokenness, and this has led to fears of violence will follow. He is not alone, joining many other Christian leaders who have been attacked by the government. Two pastors in particular, Wang Siyong and Yeong Kin Keong, have fled to other countries to set up assistance for Hong Kong refugees like themselves. These two also called for Christians to stand against the totalitarian regime of Hong Kong. And so we would like to continue to pray for them, that God will use them in their journey as they move forward. We pray for the Christians who have elected to stay behind in Hong Kong and throughout China, who are being persecuted viciously by the government. And we would again like to extend our prayers to the families and to the government members themselves that they will turn. We are now going over to Nigeria, where a staff member of Greenfield University was killed on Wednesday morning when gunmen attacked the school to kidnap students. At this time, we have very little details, including the number of those kidnapped. This is a continuous thing. They will kidnap people and hold them for ransom. The ransom money is used to fund Boko Haram, which is the terrorist group that kind of runs free in Nigeria. And lastly, we are going over to India for our last story, where on April 5th, this one's a little old, but you'll see, Pastor Sanjay Bhandari was kidnapped and beaten by Hindu extremists. They then forced him to conduct several Hindu rituals. He was told he could not be seen in the area again. Reports were filed, but the police have done nothing. And no arrests have been made, despite the fact that 7 of the attackers have been explicitly identified. And this is a continuous problem in India, where police are turning a blind eye to the actions of the Hindu extremists. Pastor Sanjay is just one of many victims who we have reported on over these past few months, and whom we will more than likely have to continue to report on. We do ask once again that you pray for Pastor Sanjay and his family, and for the Christians who suffer in India, as well as for the Hindu extremists, that they will find Christ. And we ask once again you pray for every story we have covered. And with that, we will now go to your top news reports for this week.
Hey guys, thank you for sticking with us. Now we're going to move on to our top news. There's some big stuff going on, big stuff. Won't you say that, John?
Oh yeah, definitely. When Dustin sent me the stories for this week, it was...
our first one for our top news is talking about a historic university run by the Free Methodist Church. Why don't you give him a little more detail, John?
Well, the board has chosen to stand by their decision to affirm only biblical sexuality, I believe was their exact wording.
Yes.
And the faculty have passed a vote of no confidence, if I understand it correctly.
Yes. They cast a vote of no confidence this week in its board of trustees after the latter stood by the school's hiring practice and affirmed biblical teaching on sexuality, which in turn was a 72% in favor of the no confidence, 22 against, with a 90% participation by the faculty.
Yeah.
So when I look at this situation, you can look at it from 2 different points of view. If they have federal funding, then they technically can't make an affirmation statement like this. Even though that they are a Christian organization, they have to recognize that they have to follow certain federal guidelines. However, if they don't, then the school is well within their right to make this statement. There's 2 sides. Go ahead.
Maybe we should tell them exactly what sparked this incident.
Go ahead, John. What sparked this incident?
I'm terrible with names. Why do you do this to me? There was a what was his name? What was his name? You have the file. What was his name?
Moeller.
No. The individual seeking to be hired full time.
I do not have that name, unfortunately. We'll get that name and we'll put it down in the comments down below. We do apologize for this.
I'm sorry, guys. I read the article and I forgot the name. Anyway, someone was seeking to become a full-time professor, was it?
I think, yes.
And the college refused to allow them to do so. They are a what's the word? They're a partial. Anyway, the college refuses to on the grounds that this individual. Well, it is said that it was on the grounds that this individual is gay. So the college board reviewed whether they would still continue this practice of, hiring people full-time based on biblical sexuality. And the board decided that they would continue, which is how we are here now with the vote of no confidence by the faculty. As Dustin said, if they are receiving federal funding, they are under certain limitations, but if they are privately funded, which I believe this one is.
I mean, just based off of the board of trustees, I'm assuming that infers that they are the financial board or the ones in charge of paying for schooling.
Yes. So on that basis, they are allowed to make this ruling. Now, Albert Mueller mentioned how the reason that this happens is because the college, in a way, was kind of splitting hairs. They were willing to hire this man as a part-time, but not as a full-time. And so Albert Mueller in his podcast pointed out that this is where the problem is, that the college should have had a affirmation of faith mandatory for all employees, not just the full-time professors.
And just so that you guys know who Albert Mueller is, he is the president of the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary located in Louisville, Kentucky.
Hey, I've been to Louisville. I didn't go to the Southern Baptist spot in Louisville, but I've been there. Nice city. Anyway, a little off topic, but yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting right now. We'll continue to follow this story as more happens.
Yeah, as this unfolds, we will bring the information as well, not as urgently, but in next week reports, we'll make sure to follow up with their story. If there's no new dealings or there's no new information on the story, we'll just come out and say there's no new information. But we'll continue to follow it. But if there is, we'll make sure to include it in next week's top news report.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
So let's go to the next story for our top news.
Oh, John was really excited about this. John, why don't you explain your excitement?
Well, so in Indiana, they have passed a law stating that the state that churches are essential and that no extra rulings could be made against churches than, say, stores and other places like that. So this comes about through the unfair treatment that many churches have received during the COVID-19 pandemic, in the sense that certain stores were allowed to remain open at fuller capacity than churches, and churches received very harsh penalties if they did not comply. Now, why don't you go ahead and explain the rest of it, Dustin, because I don't want to hog all of it.
Yeah, no, you're good. Now, before you say that, the governor is just being oppressive, he's not. He's a Republican governor, but he signed this bill into law after it passed the state Senate by a 36-10 vote, and the House by 74-20, which shows you that this was not just something that he decided, but this was something that the state government did officially decide on, so that it's with how the government works, they're your representatives. So obviously they're going to represent your views, and since they're making this statement, they're sort of saying, "Hey, look, religious institutions within our state and are protected." Are protected institutions and should not be infringed upon, even in the midst of a crisis or what is declared a national or state emergency.
Yes, the exact wording was that, the First Amendment doesn't go out the door because of a pandemic or a crisis.
And going as far as labeling this, religious institutions within the state as essential services, which means that now the state cannot, as John said earlier, cannot impose any new judgments or impose anything on the churches, not just the churches, not Christian churches, but all religious institutions, Muslim faith, Hindu, Buddhist, Christian, whatever religious organizations that operate in this state, they are still allowed to freely operate with minimal restriction.
Yes, the exact thing is that if a store is allowed to follow certain policies, then the same policies would apply to the church. So no harsher policies would be passed only specifically against religious institutions that weren't met by stores, bars, gyms, and other institutions like that.
Yes. So we thank you guys for sticking with us thus far, but we got more ahead. So stay tuned for our media report. Thank you for sticking with us. Now we're going to go over to our media report. So starting off at number 10, we have You Say by Lauren Daigle, which was released on July 13th, 2018. Then at number 9, we have Battle Belongs by Phil Wickham, which was released September 4th, 2020. Number 8, we have Help Is on the Way, Maybe Midnight by Toby Mac, released February 19th, 2021. At number 7, we have Gyra, featuring Chandler Moore and Naomi Rain, produced by Elevation Worship and Maverick City Music, released March 26, 2021. And at number 6, we have I Can Only Imagine by Mercy Me, released October 14th, 1999. At number 5, we have Good God Almighty, the radio version by Crowder, released January 15th, 2021. At number 4, we have Hold On To Me by Lauren Daigle, released February 26, 2021. At number 3, we have Talking to Jesus featuring Brandon Lake by Elevation Worship and Maverick City Music, released April 9th, 2021. At number 2, we have My Jesus by Ann Wilson, released April 16th, 2021. And then at number 1, Wait on You featuring Dante Bow and Chandler Moore by Elevation Worship and Maverick City Music, released April 23rd, 2021. So it was just released yesterday. It's already at the top of the charts. Thank you for our media report. And now we're going to go over to our organization of the week. And this week we are going to be covering the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. The IFCJ's mission statement is, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews is the leading nonprofit building bridges between Christians and Jews, blessing Israel and the Jewish people around the world with humanitarian care and life-saving aid in their programs such as Guardians of Israel, which helps to deliver food, medical care, and other essentials to more needy people than ever, while also providing bomb shelter renovation projects to Israelis to keep them safe from wars or terrorist attacks. Another program is Isaiah 58. This program helps provide food, medical care, housing, and other basic assistance for poor Jews in the former Soviet Union, and finances a network of safe children's homes throughout the area. Another program, On Wings of Eagles. On Wings of Eagles assists needy Jews in immigrating to Israel. They come from all over the world, Russia, Argentina, India, Muslim countries, and elsewhere, to escape anti-Semitic and extreme poverty. Stand for Israel, which is the last of their programs, Stand for Israel aims to engage people both spiritually and politically on behalf of Israel and the Jewish people, by encouraging them to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and providing them with the facts. Thank you guys for sticking with us. We hope you have a wonderful and most blessed day.